Welcome back to the Don Bullock Live Morning Show, and with me I have Dr. Dan Crocker, retired physician and a esteemed musician, a public servant, and a philanthropist. And I call him a friend, and rather than saying Dr. Crocker, I'm gonna say Dan. But we have an interesting story. A situation took place a few years ago where a physician that practiced here, I think you said 2 decades.
She was in North Carolina for 2 decades. About half of that was in Rocky Mountain.
But she was here and then transferred down to Vidalia, Georgia, which is the onion capital of the world.
Right.
And in that, with her love for the feline with cats and her untimely death brought about a situation that Wesleyan here was a part of receiving her estate with specifics of what she would like to do. And she did things in Georgia, and she did places at Nash Community College, which you will share. Why don't you update Dr. Shaw, who, what, where, and what you think would be beneficial to the audience?
Well, Dr. Nancy Shaw was a native of Providence, Rhode Island, and she attended Brown University, where she graduated magna cum laude.
And Brown is a heck of a university.
Excellent institution. She was a very intelligent lady, and she went into medicine and ultimately went into internal medicine specifically and became a hospitalist, and she practiced in various locations over the United States out west, but she spent from 1992 to 2012 in North Carolina, first in Concord at the hospital there, and then she about a decade later she came to Rocky Mountain to join the Boyce Willis Clinic and started the hospitalist program for the Boyce Willis Clinic. And so that's kind of her background. And then from there, she in 2012, she left and went to Vidalia, Georgia, where she continued her work as a hospitalist. And unfortunately, was found demised when she had gotten out of her vehicle, probably attacked by a pack of wild dogs, is the thought. But at any rate, she was a small frame young lady, but very intelligent and loved cats.
Yeah, she really, from the stories I hear you tell, had a true loving of the feline.
She did. She had a house full of cats, and she also fed cats, feral cats, which resided in the woods adjacent to the doctor's parking lot at Nash General Hospital. And on one occasion, I had the opportunity to drive into the parking lot just in advance of her, and then I saw her coming around the bend to come into the parking lot. And when her car, which was an old faded red Toyota Corolla, pulled into the parking lot, a string of feral cats came out of the woods in single file and marched directly to her car, and she would feed them in the parking lot. So she loved cats.
Well, tell us a little, and I have some thoughts that I'm going to ask that I think the audience would enjoy, but tell us about the structure that has been completed now and been occupied on the campus here at Wesleyan University.
Well, Dr. Shaw's whole life was dedicated from a professional standpoint to human beings and caring for them, but the rest of her interest resided primarily and almost totally with cats. She had an enjoyment of music and enjoyed playing the piano in addition to reading, but her primary focus was in the preservation and the care of cats. And she established, while in Rocky Mount, a trust that totaled approximately $5 million. And of course, beyond that, she had an estate of roughly $2 million or so that was applied primarily to efforts in the Georgia communities that she worked subsequent to her time in Rocky Mount. At any rate, a portion of the trust money that she well, actually almost all of the $5 million has been directed toward efforts here in Nash County, and specifically North Carolina Wesleyan University receiving the bulk of that amount of money, and the remainder of which has gone to establishing a Nash County Pet Connection Center adjacent to Nash Community College. But as far as what has gone on at North Carolina Wesleyan University, the trust money was set up to build the Shaw Learning Center, and I'll tell you more about that in a bit. In addition, there was a endowed professorship established that would serve to advise and guide pre-vet students and other science majors. In addition, there were scholarships set aside for pre-vet students and also for the development of courses related to veterinary medicine, and then general improvements within the science area of the college, that is biology, chemistry, and so forth. So, but as far as the Shaw Center, it's opened in the spring of this past year, and it consists of 4 new classrooms and also a similar number of offices for faculty members. In addition to that, there's a lounge, a cat lounge, which has within it 3 different tables with 4 chairs per table, or so 12 people can be in that room sitting around round tables, studying and enjoying the cats that have been adopted by the lounge. And currently there are 2 cats there. One is named Jack, the male, and Sarah Sue, the female. And
Jack and Sarah Sue.
I was just by there this morning, and they greeted me. You know, cats don't just immediately greet strangers, but it didn't take more than a minute or so, and they were rubbing my leg and so forth, and expecting to be patted, which I did. At any rate, it's a wonderful facility, and it provides a unique way whereby students can enjoy studying and have the companionship of these cats.
Now, this facility has some of a pre-vet type educational process, doesn't it?
Correct.
Now, let me say this. While Dr. Crocker was talking, someone called in, but rather than interrupt, I did not answer, and if that individual would like to call back and ask a specific question, feel free to, and Dan and I will intercede and answer the question. Right, Dan?
Absolutely.
But let me ask you a question. How do you see a facility like this on campus? What can cats teach students?
Well, first of all, realize that the students, particularly the freshmen, they're leaving home away from the care of and love of their families. And so one of the things they get out of a relationship like this is to learn companionship, because cats make great companions. They do it on their own terms, but students will enjoy that, and from that they will appreciate the love that the animal has for them, and in turn they will love the animals. So that's one of the things that they will get immediately, and provides them some love and companionship away from their own home. In addition, if you study the nature of cats, they look before they leap, and so students, it's important that they be observant and pay attention to their surroundings. Cats have a uprighting reflex that if you drop them, they will always land on their feet, and so it's important.
Hadn't thought of that.
It's important for students as they go through schooling and into their careers that they maintain a balance in life, which cats certainly have that capability, because they'll encounter bumps in the road in their careers and in their studies, and it's important that they land on their feet and move forward. In addition, with the rapid changing of the world with technology and so forth, it's important that these students learn to be agile. That is, to be able to change directions, even change their careers over time. And of course, cats are very independent, and so that obviously we want our students to grow and learn so that they can be independent. And you know, cats have been admired since the ancient Egyptians, and noted for their cleanliness. And so to live good, clean lives is what we would hope all of our students here at North Carolina Wesleyan will do. So there are many things that cats, by observing them, can learn. But in addition, you know, the university exists for an education, for learning, for instruction, but also research. And there's a surge of interest in studying and researching animal behavior, and so these opportunities will be available to the students as well.
That's very interesting. I hadn't thought about all those, but all those make perfect sense. And of course, in ancient Egyptian, they were noted for good luck.
Correct. There was a Greek, a goddess, Bast or Bastet, who was admired or followed by many of the Egyptians, and so people who had cats in their houses were thought was thought to bring good luck. In addition, cats were used or maintained in the temples and places of worship in the ancient times. So,
well, you see all that stuff, and you know, for us, it's horseshoes, horseshoes and cats. Now, who would you say some of the notable people that our audience may be familiar with that had the same type of affinity for cats?
Well, it's pretty remarkable. There are a number of writers such as T.S. Eliot, Edgar Allan Poe, Ernest Hemingway, and others who spoke to them. Mark Twain had a particularly interesting quote, which I'll read, or a couple of quotes that I thought were germane to this discussion. Mark Twain wrote, "When a man loves cats, I am his friend and comrade without further introduction." And, second quote, "If a man could cross with a cat, it would improve the man, but it would diminish or deteriorate the cat." In addition, Albert Einstein had a cat named Tiger, and as he tried to study astrology and physics and those things for which he's renowned, he spent a lot of time observing his cat Tiger. Albert Schweitzer, a medical missionary to Africa, said that there are two respites from the miseries of life: that is music and cats. So the two Alberts had
They were pretty smart guys. Well, one of them was really smart.
There you go. But at any rate, so there's a great history and many quotes. If you look online, you'll find wonderful quotes about cats and their influence on mankind.
Well, I tell you, the opportunity that this gives for university students, whether they're going into veterinarian medicine or whether they're just housing, but the facility adds so much possibility here, simply because we need classrooms, we need opportunities, and hopefully as things go on, more classroom space and more students and things like that. But you had the relationship with Dr. Shaw. You knew her, and you may have helped her have an affinity for this campus.
Well, she did. She came here, in particular, her coming to the campus was to the Dunn Center, and she would attend the performances of Tar River Orchestra and Chorus when it performed in the Dunn Center. And that was the sole exception in her trust in terms she did leave a donation to the Tar River Orchestra and Chorus, and the remains, the great majority of it, huge majority of it, went just for the care of cats. And so she had an affinity for the college or the university now because of the Dunn Center and the music that was presented here.
Well, Dr. Crocker, we appreciate you taking time to come in, because I thought this was a community interest, a university interest, and just something there are a number of people out in our audience that may not have heirs, but have affinities, whether it's for the arts or whether it's for cats or dogs or whether it's for whatever. And by proper planning, as Dr. Shaw did, she's not here, but some of her dreams are. And with colleagues like you that can help make that happen. Now, as we close this segment, is there anything that you, as a parting statement, because we're going to have to go in just a bit, and so is there any closing statement that you may have?
Well, certainly we want to recognize the people who were behind the construction of the Shaw Learning Center.
That's right.
And the architect and engineering firm CPL and the construction management firm EDC, and in particular the contractor Barnhill Construction and his subcontractors. They did a beautiful job of putting this building together, and it'll be long-standing and of great use to the university for years to come.
And this is right across from the Dunn Center. If you walk out the front of the Dunn Center, the Shaw building is right there, and it complements that area with the walkway and everything very nicely.
Two other things. Want to recognize Paul's and All Feline Rescue in Tarboro. That was that is an entity operated by Robin Tant, and she provided the two cats, Jack and Sarah Sue. In addition, those of you who have interest in cats, and I hope there are many of you, there's an opportunity that you can donate to this, be it cat food or supplies or toys that cats would enjoy. And you can contact the Advancement Office at North Carolina Wesleyan at 252-985-5581, or go online to ncwc.edu and just follow the prompts and make your donation. And there's an area for comment, and you say for cats, and that'll direct your contribution to help foster this effort here on campus.
Well, it's a great project, and we thank you again for being here to share it and update it. And with that, we're going to take our break, and we'll be back with our next guest. With that, we say, take it away, Pernell.
Thank you, Roger.